We didn't know the massive, 9-foot-tall alien princess was deemed a genetic defect by her own empire until her massive, trembling claw slipped into my hand, and her mother's dreadnought instantly targeted my ship for immediate vaporization. That was the exact hook the universe used to turn a simple diplomatic banquet into a sector-wide red alert. I'm Cole. I'm a deep space construction foreman who spends his life anchoring orbital platforms in high-gravity zones. To the Valari, a proud race of elegant, avian reptilian elites, humans are nothing but short, squishy primitives. We are the low-tier grease monkeys tolerated only because our dense bone structure allows us to work in gravity wells that would crush their fragile, elegant frames. But tonight was the royal matrimonial gala, and the atmosphere inside the Obsidian Palace was a literal pressure cooker. Alien logic relies entirely on cold math, symmetry, and perfection. To the Valari, height is a highly calculated evolutionary trait. If a female grows past 7.5 feet, her skeletal matrix is flagged by the central computer as a genetic anomaly. An unstable asset. Standing in the corner of the grand ballroom, completely isolated and wrapped in heavy ceremonial silk, was Princess Lyra. She was a towering, 9-foot-tall monolith of raw physical power, her iridescent silver scales bruised and dull from public shame. According to imperial decree, she was too tall, too heavy, and too dominant to ever carry a noble bloodline. The noble suitors didn't just ignore her, they openly laughed, leaving her entirely alone in the dark. The Grand Sovereign, her own mother, stood on the high dais, her tactical internal computers running the lineage spreadsheets. Her mechanical translator droned out a wet, heavy, metallic rasp across the silent room. The asset's physical matrix violates the symmetry algorithm, the machine automated. She is mathematically unmarriageable. The lineage dictates she must be stripped of her title and sent to the Outer Rim Monastery. Your logic centers must dictate total alignment. Walk away now. The elite guards, clad in pristine kinetic armor, tightened their grip on their plasma halberds, ready to drag the weeping princess out of the palace. The Valari suitors looked at her with clinical disgust, calculating the loss of status. But nobody ever explained a human's complete and utter disregard for alien spreadsheets. I was standing near the buffet line in a rented, uncomfortable formal suit. I looked at the broken princess, I looked at her arrogant mother, and I looked at the absolute cruelty of their cold numbers. I didn't think about royal protocol. I didn't calculate the political risk of offending a galactic empire. Instead, I just set my glass down, adjusted my collar, and walked straight across the spotless floorboards. All caps for emphasis can't describe the absolute, paralyzing shock that choked that grand chamber right then. My heavy work boots squeaked loudly against the obsidian stone as I bypassed the entire line of elite suitors. I walked right up to the towering, 9-foot princess, looked up at her beautiful, wide amber eyes, and extended my bare, open hand. "They think you're too much to handle," I said, my voice cracked like old leather but echoing clearly through the silent hall. "But where I'm from, we appreciate a woman who can actually stand her ground. Would you care to dance, Your Highness?" The princess froze. The wet, rhythmic clicking of her mandibles stopped completely. Her massive claw trembled as she slid it into my palm. The moment our hands met, her unstable, heavy-gravity aura, which normally terrified her own people, instantly grounded itself into my dense human frame. Her scales flared from a dull gray into a vibrant, brilliant violet. The Grand Sovereign erupted from her throne, her royal silk rustling violently as she pointed a trembling claw at my chest. "The primitive is disrupting the imperial decree. The human lacks the status, the height, and the genetic code to claim a royal asset. Liquidate him." 60 royal guards instantly leveled their plasma rifles directly at my forehead, their red laser sights dotting my suit like a target grid. Alien logic says that when a lower species is outgunned 60-1 by giant reptilian warriors, he will slide into the mud, drop to his knees, and beg for survival. They run entirely on numbers. But I didn't step back. I didn't pull my hand away from Lyra. Instead, I let out a ragged, ugly chuckle, pulled her slightly closer to my side, and looked the sovereign dead in her multifaceted eyes. You think she's a defect because your little computer can't handle her power, I growled, my voice completely steady under the lethal plasma hum. But on Earth, we don't let spreadsheets tell us who to love. She chose me. And if your guards want to take her away from me, they're going to find out exactly why humans are the ones who build your empires. The Chancellor's hand froze on the trigger command. The guards backed away by a fraction of an inch, the equations in their high-tech helmets completely broken. They realized this squishy human didn't give a damn about their firing squad. He was ready to burn the whole palace down just to protect the girl standing next to him. Seeing that raw, reckless bravery, the princess let out a massive, resonant purr that shook the dust from the ceiling. The sovereign slowly, profoundly sank back into her throne, realizing her cold imperial math had completely failed her. The universe thinks everything runs on cold numbers, programming, and clean simulations. The alien empires assume that when a human is face to face with an army, he will always choose the path of least resistance. But they forget that our stubborn capacity for absolute loyalty and our total refusal to accept their math is exactly what makes us so damn dangerous. Because when a human chooses someone the rest of the galaxy discarded, that is when the real war begins. So, next time you try to tell a human who is allowed to protect, don't wait for the math to favor you. Just run.